Happy Fan Friday. We're going to talk through some YouTube comments as we usually do on Wednesdays, but there was so much to cover with the midseason grades. We didn't want you guys to not have those. So here we are talking through your comments, the highs and lows and in-betweens, and making sure that you are all tapped in for these Week 7 matchups here from the ACC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to our YouTube page where you can talk to us. We have a lovely community where we get to talk to them each and every day. And we get to talk to our friends at LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. We're full of all the comments, all the excitement, maybe the angst towards Week 7. And Kenton is here, of course, to share in that with us. Kenton, how are you feeling?
Oh, I feel great as always. I'm ready to get into it because our fans, I tell people all the time, Locked On Podcast Network has the best fans out there, particularly Locked On ACC. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what our fans have for us in store today.
You be telling people that?
Oh, absolutely. Nobody's fans are as cool as there are other networks with bigger, wider reaches. There are, obviously the national TV brands and all that have bigger reaches. Nobody has a cooler fan base than us. Somebody sent me somebody sent me a picture of them dressed as Jeff Hardy for Halloween when I said that Brennan Armstrong is the Jeff Hardy of college football. Like, nobody is cooler than our folks. You know what I mean? The Slam Tannas of the world, the Peninsula P's of the world, the Carla Jenkins of the world. Nobody's cooler than our fans. You know what I mean?
Billy, you got King DT.
Yeah, it's
Terry.
Yeah, it's a long list. It's a long list.
Forever Orange Girl. She really holding her at POP, holding down for Syracuse.
Yeah, it's a long list, and we'd be remiss because obviously we can't mention all of you by name, but everybody who interacts with us, everybody who leaves comments regularly and all that, we got the best fans out there, and you just can't convince me otherwise.
Definitely have a dedicated squad. Well, we got user K975653 who wanted to kick things off for us. So I'm going to go ahead and let you know that he said Louisville is so loaded. Let me give you the best example of that. Reiger, the defensive lineman that bull rushed straight through the Notre Dame offensive tackle that is about to be a top 5 to 10 pick in the NFL draft for 2 sacks. Reiger is a walk-on. That is how loaded Louisville is right now. He put loaded in all caps twice.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Sometimes walk-ons should not be walk-ons, and Joe Alt is an amazing talent, but we saw earlier this season, Joe Alt is not infallible, right? Like, everybody said that he hadn't he hadn't given up a sack in how long, and then he's had some struggles this year a bit in terms of not necessarily the sack number being outrageous, but the pressure number being up there. But I agree, Louisville is loaded. Louisville does have a lot of talent, both sides of the ball. Again, finding a way to make Cam Kelly play good ball on that back end, that's something.
What do you have against Cam? He ain't doing
No, I'm not. I said he's playing good ball.
But it's the way you say it's a little bit like backhanded.
Okay, so you watched him play in North Carolina. Did you expect him to play this well at Louisville?
Yes, I thought he was good in North Carolina. He was one of our best defenders.
I didn't say he wasn't. Best defender on a bad defense. I was not expecting him to show up in the way that he has for Louisville. And you know what? That could be my NC State bias, as the fans have let me know about.
No, that just could be your being a former defenseman yourself. You're very hard on these young men, which is like good or bad or indifferent, but like you're very much like, listen, no nonsense.
Listen, again, Cam Kelly is playing good ball. Devin Neal playing good ball. Ashton Gelati, of course, beware the hair. Great ball. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're looking good doing it. So Louisville is loaded. I agree.
I also think that, you're the type of dad who's never going to give participation trophies. So like you're one of those hard, tough-nosed feedback guys. So, it's fine. Totally
Oh,
fine.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. With my kids, it's about having fun. When I was younger, all my participation trophies got thrown away. I'm not doing that to my kids. Here, keep it. Keep it. Let's have a mantle full of all your trophies.
I don't believe you. All right, let's talk about Forever Orange Girl 44, who says, will the real orange team please stand up? Come on, Slim Shady. It's tough to know how Qs will react coming off last week's pitiful showing. They'll either be fire or it'll be a long afternoon. Go Orange.
Yeah, I don't
think it's going to be pitiful. I think they're going to have some pride about them.
I'm sorry to say this, and I don't, Orange Girl, please don't leave us. I think that is who Syracuse is, with all due respect. I think that is who they are. Showing? I think that showing is who they are. Not a pitiful show. I think that they, again, before that fake punt where they got shafted on the spot, they were right there. But that fake punt was in the middle of the first quarter, second quarter, something like that. Like, sure. You still have to show up. Bad calls happen. The refs are going to get it wrong. You have to show up. These are ACC officials. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. These are ACC officials. They're gonna screw the pooch at some point in time. It is the team's job to keep going from there. But my question for Syracuse is, how much better can they be? Because a lot of people are saying, hey, Syracuse has a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on. And my only question for that would be, when have we seen Dr. Jekyll? Because I haven't seen this Syracuse team play extremely well against any team that we would consider to be a contender or consider to be good. I mean, the Purdue team that they beat lost to Fresno State already, barely by the hairs on their chin, sure. Escaped with a win against Virginia Tech. Other than that, every game for them has been pretty bad. So, I mean, I want Syracuse to be good because the conference is good when they're good. I'm just not sure they are.
Yeah, listen, that's fair. And this is a good conference. Not having divisions has opened the doors and the eyes of who's actually good and who's pretty much, not doing at best meeting expectations. So yeah. I think this has been the biggest exposure year for our conference. Let's talk about Miami, who, of course, they always have people who love to comment. Willie said here, Mario didn't lose the locker room. You're crazy if you think the team blames Mario and not themselves for playing an ugly game. The outcome of this week and next week has nothing to do with last week's loss. Going into the season, we weren't expecting to beat UNC or Clemson. Did you? We're still going 8-4. 8-4, sure. I thought you could definitely beat UNC. Damn sure not Clemson. But you're crazy if you think that them players, when we saw that viral clip and the man said, "What are we doing?" didn't have himself a come to Jesus in that locker room postgame.
I agree that he did not lose the locker room. I agree to that, but that's not what we said. We said he's in danger of losing the locker room if things continue to spiral, because we talked about how tough this 3-game stretch is. Yeah. With you played Georgia Tech. That was supposed to be your gimme. That was supposed to be the one where you tune up and get right for these next two. And then the aspect of last week's game doesn't have an effect on next week's. I'm telling you this as somebody who played football for 17 years. If you believe that, I have oceanfront property to sell you in Detroit, Michigan. It is right next door to where I grew up at. Don't ask me what ocean is near. Just give me the oceanfront money, and I'll show you the property. The reality is these are 18 to 22-year-olds, right? This is not professionals. These are not guys who are doing this at the highest level, and they've been doing it for forever, and they're the 1% of 1% of 1%. These are 18 to 22-year-olds. There are lingering effects from that type of loss sometimes. But here's the good thing in your favor. The lingering effects can be negative or positive. They can come out the next game sluggish and slow, like, I can't believe we lost that game. Or at the end, kind of seize up and say, oh, boy, we just can't win tight games. This is going to happen again. Or the inverse of that, they come out pissed off, angry, upset, focused all week to say, you know what? If we can't trust that we're going to do the right thing in that ending phase or whatever the case may be, let's put this thing so far out of doubt. Let's put this thing to the point where it don't matter what Drake May do on the last drive. He could score the greatest touchdown that ever wrote. And they say, Drake May did it. He did it. He threw the longest touchdown in UNC history. And the Hurricanes win 38-7. Like, those are the different ways that they can react. They can react pitifully or they can react with a whooping. We'll see.
A whooping is crazy. But sure, I 100% am I'm with you. I very much agree. Let's talk about LinkedIn here. And these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for faster and for free. Just go to LinkedIn.com right now, add your job and purple hashtag with a hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. Go to linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Kenton Gibbs and I talking through Fan Friday, talking through your comments from YouTube and giving final calls as we're getting ready for a very exciting Week 7, a lot on the line. If you did not listen to our Week 7 Reigniting Some Rivalry episode, you're doing yourself a disservice, so get on that. Speaking of rivalries renewed, let's talk about the NC State side of things. We had a couple people talking about UNC wanting to win out of respect, and then NC State saying they got the best defense in the ACC. They just gave up 40+ to Marshall. So do they really have the best defense in the ACC?
Where do y'all think I got that information from? Do y'all think I pulled that out of thin air off of I didn't say they have the best defense in the ACC because I think so. The numbers say that they're the best defense in the ACC, child. I don't know what y'all want from me.
I mean, the numbers also say Haynes King is a really good quarterback, and as quiet as it's kept, he's the number 2 quarterback in passing yards this season.
Is Haynes King not a good quarterback? What
he is?
I feel like
I'm just saying, people think, oh, Georgia Tech is not good, and it's like, nah. If you really, really know and do the homework, you would be less and less surprised.
Yeah, again, you got to watch ball. It's too many people. They gave up 41 points, but did you see in that game where they gave up 41 points the fact that their wonderful head coach just made one of the worst coaching blunders that I've ever seen in my life in terms of constantly kicking squib kicks that kept Marshall starting. Their average starting position, I believe, was their own 35 or 40-yard line in that game. So, in essence, Marshall only had to drive 60 yards to get a touchdown as opposed to 75 to 80. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about here. The numbers bear out that NC State's one of the best defenses in the conference and in the nation. That's not what I feel. That's what the numbers say. And so, with that being said, this is a defense that I'm expecting to show up against Duke. But I'm also expecting Duke's defense to show up. And I'm expecting this game to get ugly, nasty, funky, it's going to be one of those games where you got to put on your big boy britches and go to work.
So people are very much calling into question you picking NC State over Duke with how well Duke has done this season and feeling like it's a little bit of a homer pick. Can you just explain really why NC State is going to beat this Duke team, or maybe why you feel like Duke could potentially give NC State a run for their money?
I mean, I didn't say that this was going to be a blowout. I expect NC State to win a close one, which also means if somebody were to tell me, hey, Duke is going to win this game, if we were to fast forward 2 days and I were to see Duke won, I wouldn't be super shocked by that either. But there are a few things. College kickers, right? We know that that's a huge thing. Who has the better kicker? Polino looked god-awful against Notre Dame, missing a 28-yarder. I'm sorry to tell you this. Braden Narveson for NC State is a Grossa finalist. He has been a Grossa semifinalist or finalist. And on top of that, I don't feel like people are giving enough gravity to how much Riley Leonard meant to that team. The running game is what it is, not because, don't get me wrong, Duke is physical. They will beat you up. But another layer of that running game is the fact that there has to be a defender dedicated at all times to the QB or else. We saw what happened even with Clemson, when they dedicated a defender to Riley Leonard. But Riley said, hey, I'm about to go legend. I'm going to do something special here, which he did on that extremely long touchdown run of what was it, 40 or 50 some odd yards?
40, yeah.
That is what this backup will be asked to do. And I'm not saying they're going to ask him to make that type of play, but I'm saying he'll be asked to be that special if this offense is to maintain the level that they were at before. And do I see them doing that? I don't. So I see them scoring 17 points, and I see NC State scoring 20 to 21. I see that being the way the game plays out. But again, that's not a, hey, NC State by 1,000. There's no way. Come on now. I've picked against NC State multiple times this year. What are we doing here?
I think this is going to be a fun, unspoken rivalry because it is in-state. It is a triangle sort of thing where we haven't got the opportunity to see these two compete because NC State has played on the Atlantic, Duke has played in the coast, so it's always about Duke, North Carolina, but never really, and sometimes North Carolina and NC State, but you never really get those two sort of joining forces. And now with both teams having strong components of each, this is going to be one of those matchups where you say, okay, this is why we put this on the docket and should renew this every now and again. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well.
Now, you're not the only person who gets, comments and people get frustrated with you. People get frustrated with me. Mm-hmm. I care a little bit less than you. Maybe actually, no, you're the king of caring less. But Black Leo Core 69 said, you can tell Candace is a UNC fan, graduate, but okay, especially when you argue about an A and an A-, bruh. And I just want you to say, Black Leo, mind your business.
I mean, Black Leo not wrong.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying I find it hard for you to not just give Carolina praises.
They struggled against an App State team that is having a very down year for App standards. And they scrape by the hairs on their chinny chin. Now, don't get me wrong. We have talked ad nauseum about, yes, a win is a win. But what have we also said on this show? Style points matter. How you win matters. And I talked about NC State dropping in the rankings because of how they beat UVA, because of the fact that they just barely got by, because their quarterback pulled one of the biggest freshman mistakes I've ever seen. I got to give UNC that same deal. And so that's why they got a minus on their A. They didn't get a clean A. That's what it is.
Now we have another fan who is in his feelings, Gary McElroy, 5'2", 8218. He had to say, he gave our show a chance. He tried to give the Locked On podcast the benefit of the doubt, but after hearing our power rankings, who knew our power rankings this season was going to ruffle so many feathers? But hey, this is why we do these things.
Absolutely.
Now, the first words that come out of your mouth is we had Sam Hartman's number. Why can't our defense be legit? Like I said, during the lead up to this season, when you had us losing to all those teams, I told you to do your homework. But you and Dude are just biased fans. It's laughable that you two have the ACC voice. Give credit, please. Admit you were wrong. Y'all both need to change professions. Don't know what y'all talking about. Not even a little bit. Even before the Notre Dame game, our team has been consistent. He just had to fire that one off. And you know what's crazy? Gary probably went about his day and was just sitting here waiting for this reply. And we're going to give Gary these 2 minutes. Go ahead, Gary.
I mean, I don't really see, and see, this is the interesting thing that I see about doing this and having these platforms and all that, because it's the selective hearing for me. It's so interesting. Have I not said on this show, hey, I will eat my crow, I was wrong about Louisville? Have I not said that?
We said we were wrong. It's actually harder for me to say I'm wrong, but you definitely said you're wrong.
And here's the thing. I would like to see, if we are so bad, show me the analyst, the scout, the person on there, the media personality that's gotten it 100% right. Show them to me.
Beyond that, show me a ACC platform that is killing it, that you love watching, that you consistently recommend, so we can have them on the show. We can have guests. I'm all for that too.
Absolutely.
I'm all for sharing the wealth.
My biggest thing is this. If you're going to say, hey, y'all are bad because you have been incorrect, okay, that's fine. Show me who is extremely, that just does this thing at such a high clip, there's no way, right? If you're big on TikTok, I'm sure that you've seen guys like the Stay Hot podcast and Theo Ash and Spun Hour and Braden and those guys, or Theo's arch nemesis, Rico Knowles, and guys like that. All of them have been wrong. Joel and his podcast, those guys, everybody has been right. Everybody has been wrong, because we are giving you our most educated guesses based upon what we know, the information that we have. That's what we're giving you. And so, because we are giving you that, sometimes that information will lead us to a correct conclusion. Sometimes it will lead us to a wrong conclusion. If I've specifically said on this show already, I was wrong about Louisville, they are showing out, and they are 5 elite Jack Plummer performances away from being not only an ACC champion, a potential playoff team. How much more do you want me to say about them? What do you want from me? I'm not about to do anything further than that. We'd lose our clean rating if I do what I believe you want me to do to praise Louisville here. So let's stop it.
I mean, here's the thing. There's a Locked on Louisville podcast that our friend Dalton
Pence. Yeah.
He's on every single day. So if you want Locked on specific or what is it? Help
Louisville specific. If you
want Louisville Pacific Ocean, if you want that, if you want it, we got it for you here on the Locked on Podcast
You want
Network.
it, we got it. Dripping like water.
You decided to put 10, and I'm not even joking, 12 comments on that episode. Gary McElroy.
More power to him. More power.
Gary,
I hope
here's
that
the
one
thing.
of them.
We got your view either way. He said, "Are y'all getting paid for this? Are you serious?" We sure are.
I hope
every day on the first.
I hope that Gary reaffirms, hey, my bad. I hope one of those comments said, hey, my bad. No. You did apologize and you did say you were wrong about Louisville. I hope that it did because I said I was wrong. And wait a minute. Was that on the Power Rankings episode?
It was on an episode.
Because if you said the Power Rankings was what made them done.
It was a recap episode.
Oh, okay. Because where did we rank Louisville in the Power Rankings this week?
It's dope. People be smoking.
I'm just.
He stopped listening. He was over it.
Good for him. Let's move on. Good for him. You don't have to announce. This is not a flight. This is not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure, baby. You can just go.
What you do have to do is get in on this NFL action. This season, you can get with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better place to get on the action, whether it's player props, over-unders, or spreads. You better go to FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Kenton, sometimes there's the highs, and then sometimes there's the lows. And at times, people want to play with us on the lows, but I just want you to know, we have a lot of, this is very enjoyable, such an engaging show. Man, I love this show. You guys, your content is always so engaging. Thank you for doing this every single day. So where there are the haters, there are the lovers. Yeah. And either way it goes, we get the views.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't do this. I don't do this show for like the people who don't like us or whatever the case may be. I do it for the people who enjoy it. I'm here to help you get away from, or get into ACC sports for 30 minutes, right? If you want to get away from the real world, and there's a lot going on in the real world right now, which obviously we're never going to comment on this show, right? We're never going to tell you which candidate to vote for, which policies to believe. We don't tell you that because we want you to come here. And we want you to kick back, relax. Let's talk some sports. Let's laugh. Let's be right. Let's be wrong. Let's laugh when we're right. Let's talk about, I was right. Let's, you were wrong. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
1,000%.
And the minute that we lose that, we'll be done doing this show because, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of how much we get paid, even if this was like our full-time job and we were looking into these teams and following these teams around all day and night, guess what? We'd still be wrong sometimes. I know that's crazy to hear. I know it's wild to hear, but the people who get paid millions, the people who kids won't have to work because of the way they do this thing here, they're wrong sometimes. As a matter of fact, one of them had a curse following them for whichever team they picked to win the Super Bowl, lost every year for like 6 or 7 in a row. So with that being said, we do our best. We want you to come here, have a good time. If you don't like us, that's fine. Tell us in the comments. If you love us, tell us in the comments. Let us know.
Well, the weatherman never gets the weather right all the time. So, he still keeps his job year round. Either way, I know we wanted to end on the high, but these FSU fans just want to let you know that they shouldn't have been dinged for beating Virginia Tech by a significant amount of points and falling to number 2.
They wanted me to know that?
They need you to know that.
Oh.
They need us to know that.
Ooh, I was just about to say, boy, there was one of us who actually campaigned for them to stay at number 1. And it wasn't the person with hair.
I know you finna lie on this show here.
Hold on. The pre-production for the Power Rankings, did I not say, I don't know if we could drop Florida State from 1 with them.
But beating Notre Dame, a top 10 team, that's pretty good.
And that's I understood the arguments for both. I wasn't beating the table saying they need to drop. You know what? We're not going to throw anybody under the bus today.
We're not going to
drop. We're not going to throw anybody under the bus today. We're not going to throw anybody under the bus today. What I will say is this. Every single team has the ability to move up and move down in the power ranking. Everybody. Nobody is stuck where they are. I promise you. Not even Virginia. If Virginia closes out this season, whooping the wheels off everybody in front of them, guess what's going to happen? Take a wild guess. Come on, Ricky.
Virginia whoops the wheels off of everybody. I promise you, I'm going to bet them numbers.
Listen, but at the end of the day, that's just my point, right? Virginia has been the worst.
Play them numbers.
Virginia has been the worst team in the conference by a mile, correct? And if they whoop the wheels off everybody going forward, they can move up. So guess what? If you feel like we were wrong for moving Florida State down, they have many opportunities to prove us wrong. They have, and guess what? Really, second in the conference with 3 undefeated teams, you're not really proving anybody wrong by moving up to number 1. When you were at number 1 already, it's just that one team had a win against the top 10 team that actually looks good. So, that's again.
We ask y'all each and every week to come out with your own power ranking. So if you think that you have better than us, please leave it in the comments. We would love to know.
Yeah.
Y'all got a little funky little attitude. Go ahead and leave your little top 14, okay?
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is I wasn't beating on the table for Louis.
Okay. Right.
Don't do that.
There was no beating on the table. There was a
clarify.
There was a very civil discussion in which we
not
agreed.
With the third 1, 2, 3. First of all, I was ready for North Carolina to be on top, so we could just really go ahead and put it out there if we're gonna do it. If we gonna do it, me, Drake, and the boys should be number 1. But I'm not gonna be a homer. This is a group project.
They have the opportunity to prove it.
I'm cool with my A or A minus.
If they're going to be the number 1 team, again, I'm gonna say this let me say this to all y'all fans, because apparently y'all don't understand this. All of your teams, yes, your team has the ability to move up or down in the power rankings. So Orange Girl, if Syracuse go out there and show us something that we didn't know was going on, guess what? I'm going to say, hey, Schrader has found himself some weapons. They've done it. They've done the thing. The mob is that good. If Virginia and the 3 Tonys work it out, but however they want to do it, my God, Tony Muskett is just firing that thing all around. That is not Tony Muskett. They need to change his name to Tony AK-47. If I look up and Louisville is winning every game by 50 and Jack Plummer becomes a Heisman candidate, I will tell you I was wrong about Jack. That man looks amazing. That is half man, half amazing in the flesh right there. If somehow, knock on wood, I hope that this don't happen, Brennan Armstrong gets back in the game for NC State and does great things, I'll get on the show and say, hey, I was wrong. Brennan's not the problem. He's not the guy. I'm just saying, for all of these teams, if Grant Wells comes back and looks great instead of Kyron Jones, I will give anybody on the show their props.
But, cut the mic off.
No, it's cut the mic off.
Cut the mic off. Let's give you a Week 7 recap here. Syracuse plays Florida State at 12 on ABC. Tired of these Florida State noon games, but I'll have it. Whatever, make it work. Wake Forest plays Virginia Tech at 3:30. Louisville plays Pitt at 6:30. Don't make it a trap game, Louisville, because don't have us be up here high on y'all, because I don't want to have Gary. I'm going to light Gary up. Don't y'all dare lose to Pittsburgh.
No, they won't lose to Pitt. They won't lose to Pitt.
You better not.
They won't lose.
Don't get popped in the mouth and unexpected loss. Don't do it, please, because Gary going to get it.
I think Pitt can push him maybe. But you
better do it for Gary. You better do
not
it
do
for
it
Gary.
for Lil Saint. Not do it for Lil Saint. Lord have
Miami
mercy.
and North Carolina are back on ABC at 7:30 in Chapel Hill. Then you got NC State and Duke, where Kenton Gibbs will be at 8 p.m. on ACC Network. Shout out to the ACC. 7 of the 13 games for ABC have been the top ACC games. Let me say that again.
They've been the top rated, top view games on
ACC.
ABC.
Has the top 7 games on ABC.
Yeah, 7 of the top 10. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I wanted to say. You got it. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Shout out to the ACC, the team, the conference that couldn't get the numbers in. People weren't really watching. Nobody cared. Does it help that Notre Dame is playing us half the time? Sure, I'm not gonna take that away from us, but
Notre Dame is NBC, so that they can't. None of their games count for
ABC.
They did.
They did.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It wasn't a home game for Notre Dame.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, so only the home games are NBC. Okay, got it. Noted.
It's not like they're not allowed to play on any other network.
Oh, okay.
They sure took it to NC State and the Woodshed, and that wasn't on NBC.
All right. And on that note, I'm gone. I've had enough of this abuse for the day.
You guys have a great weekend. We look forward to doing that recap on Monday. Make sure that you tag us. Let us know how you feel in these comments. Either way, checks get paid on the 1st, and we feel good about it for Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs. Until next time.